To another episode of The Cynical Marketers. It's episode 53, technically, but actually what this is season 2, episode 1. It's the first episode of the new year for us, new season.
We made it through a full year of recording this podcast, which if you guys had listened to us, the several of you that do, thank you. We appreciate you. We are now technically in the top 1% of all podcasts because most people, something like 90% do not make it to episode 20.
Yeah.
And then a little bit beyond that, people drop off at 6 months. And then only 1% of podcasts that get started actually make it past a year. So we're in that top 1%, Mike. We're going
Here we
on
are.
year
Just with this
2,
one,
episode 1.
we're officially past a year. We
Wild.
posted our very first episode on January 1 of 2025. This one's going to go up on January 1, 2026. So it's been a year. I can't believe how fast it went.
It went really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, just the ups and downs of, nearly several fans and viewers through the year. I always post that we're the most unlistened to podcast on the internet.
It's something like that.
Yeah, right.
Listen, we had some great episodes, though. We've talked about some
and
really
that's the thing
awesome things.
Exactly. It's the thing about content in general. Not everything is ever going to hit, but over the year, we have had a few episodes that did, do pretty well. And certainly on our shorts and clips did even better, because long form podcasting is a tough gig because most people's attention spans, don't, fit this genre well. Because people want things quick, sound bites, short, and we're not Joe Rogan, or any of those kind of people who are getting big name guests on. We've loved our guests that we've had on because they're friends of ours and people that we know, but they're in our community,
Right.
Those folks are also within our community too. So, but yeah, I mean, it's for me, I'll tell you, I think for you is the biggest thing here because you've not been a content person ever. So now you've done a year of this, putting yourself on camera.
It is really hard for me to be on camera. So that is one thing that I've learned because it's interesting. So in what we do, we always tell our clients, you have to show up. You have to show up for your business. You have to show up for your personal brand, for your coaching, whatever it is that you're doing. Show up, be on camera. People, as you say, Mike, people buy from who they know and who they trust. And this is the way that they get to know you. We all seek social proof. We don't look at reviews anymore. We go on people's social media and we look at what they post and we look at what the comments are. And so we tell business owners all the time, show up. So it was hypocritical for me to sit here and tell other business owners, like, show up. And I absolutely loathe being on camera. So that's been a transition for me over the last year, is to get more comfortable being on video. And I still don't do short form content on my own. I am in all of the clips from the podcast, obviously. But you still do majority of the really all the content for Round to Ed, because you've been so comfortable in doing video for years now, whereas it's completely new to me. And I think probably halfway through this year, I just kind of got over it. And I was like, I'm just going to show up. Because if people meet me in person, this is who I am. This is how I show up. I don't look any different. There's no filters on any of our, podcasts or anything goofy going on like that. So if I guess to, just really position ourselves as people that know what we're doing and what we're talking about. And we like talking about the things that we do and hearing ourselves talk. I'm like, this is what we have to do. And I feel like I've been more comfortable with it. It's been a learning experience, definitely. I think the first few episodes were tough, but I think as the year went on, I just was like, all right, I'm just going to show up. Here I am, and not worry about what I look like or what people see. Those, the superficial things I feel like people worry about.
Everyone does. And we hear this a lot from business owners because we tell business owners to get yourself out there, with AI content being just pumped out everywhere now. The way to stand out and differentiate is to be human and be you, because people do.
Yeah.
They buy from who they know and who they trust. And the way to stand out then is to get out there. And the reason why I always think it works is because it is the hard thing to do. So
Mhm.
not everyone's going to do it. So
Yeah.
this is a way for you to differentiate. Everyone wants to do the AI route because it is the easier thing. If
Right.
you can buy a tool and it can pump out 100 blog posts a month for you, great,
Of course.
you know,
Yeah.
and I didn't have to pay
Mhm.
anyone for that. Or AI does it for me. So everyone is going to do that, and businesses are leaning into that. And you're seeing
Yeah.
faceless content that's out there, and all the people who talk about how you can build a faceless social media channel and
That
just use
stuff
some sort of
drives
an
me
AI
nuts.
voiceover. Yeah, and I think in some ways it works for entertainment, depending on what you're
Right.
talking about. But like when you're trying to sell a business, a product to people, certainly if you're a service-based business, you and your people are the business because
Right.
they're going to be working with you. So I think that's why it's so important for people to see the humans in a business. And
Yeah.
it's so hard because I know no one's comfortable with it. It feels weird. I'm sitting in home in my like home office recording, and it's just me
Same.
looking at this camera. There's no one here, right? It feels weird.
Same.
When
Yeah.
you're talking, I'm not listening or looking at my screen where you're on because I am looking at the camera
At
because
the
the people are
camera.
watching
Yeah.
you, right? It's
Yeah.
weird feeling. And when you're
Yeah.
going to record content, it feels weird because you're alone in a room somewhere, maybe, or walking outside and you're going to hold your
Right.
cell phone. Feels weird. And it does. And I still don't.
Yeah.
I do not record any content myself anywhere where there's going to be people.
I
I
know
don't
this
do it.
about you.
I do not record content in front of people. I still feel that weird about it. And I just, the stigma of somebody like, yeah, stupid content creator over there. I'm like, not really, but I
Right.
get it,
Yeah.
so, there are still some of those things, but it's just been valuable. And
Yeah. It really has.
we got a client who led to another client off of
Right.
this,
Right.
right? And we don't spend any money on this. Believe it or not, I'm sure everyone's like, what? With those production values? Are you kidding?
Amazing production
No
value.
way. You totally, I was fooled. I thought this was a high level production, like you guys were in the studio somewhere. But
Indeed.
we don't pay to promote. It's all
Right.
organic,
Right.
you know, and it's our time is what
Yeah.
we put into it. And that's basically it. So we invest our time into this, but it has led to business of people paying us
Yeah.
actual money to do things. So for us, it's worth it.
And
Even
I
if all
think,
of 2025, like it paid itself back.
yeah, I think interestingly for me too, part of this is the discipline of doing this because I think people start podcasts expecting hundreds of listens and views
Yeah.
and and all the gurus, right? They talk about discipline over motivation, discipline over inspiration, all of those things. But until you actually do it and you commit to doing something like this, we've had weeks where we batched recorded a couple episodes ahead of time. We've had weeks where we were like, oh, it's Tuesday. Our episode's supposed to go up tomorrow. We should probably record. Obviously, like you said, no huge production value here. So it's not like, we're cutting into anybody else's time
Yeah.
if we don't plan. But to show up every single week and talk about the things that are relevant to us that we're seeing, experiencing in our industry. One thing that I have learned that was actually really eye-opening for me, Mike, too, besides learning to be comfortable on camera, we have followed, and I have certainly, I think I'm way more guilty of this than you are, really, because you kind of just do it ironically. But I feel like I followed a lot of like gurus, and have listened to Gary Vee for a decade tell me how I just need to show up and start doing things, right? But you don't actually know what it's like to show up and do the things until you do them. And all these experts and all these gurus like yapping in their microphones and telling you to do things are really not operators in most businesses anymore.
Hmm.
And I think that's what people miss. It's like, this is a commitment. I hear a lot of business owners, we hear this all the time too, Mike, of like business owners that are like, I'm going to start my own podcast. And then they
Yeah.
get discouraged when they get 3 or 4 views on an episode. They're like, this isn't worth my time. But they don't understand these gurus that are out there, they're getting hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views, have been number one at it for a long time, right? Gary Vee
Yeah.
has been around for like 15 years talking into a microphone. Um, and they're not operators. So when we are doing this podcast, we are also managing our clients. We're also out there doing acquisition and networking. We're also business owners. So when we talk to business owners, we understand, I think, conceptually a lot more of what that means than most of the gurus that are on TikTok and YouTube telling business owners what to
You're
do,
right.
because we're in the trenches with the business owners. We run a different type of business than the clients we work with, obviously, but we're still business owners and we still have to do all the things for the business
Yep.
that, and still show up here. So this has been, I think, a good lesson kind of in discipline for me as well. And to understand a little bit more of, what to listen to and what to tune out from some of these folks that are telling us, oh, it's so easy to, create content. It's not easy. You need discipline to keep showing up.
Takes a lot of discipline, and everybody
Mm-hmm.
thinks that about content. It's like, oh, it's just so easy, just me, right? But they don't do it. And I think that's why so many people quit in such a short time. And there's two reasons for it. Is number one, it's hard. Like you
Yeah.
said, we've had times during the year where we were close. We never missed a posting date,
No.
but it was close. Came
Mm-hmm.
down on the deadline a few times,
Yeah.
but we didn't. We had to stick to it. We didn't plan far enough ahead, and time gets away from everybody. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're like, oh man, I'm going to fall behind. And then it's like going to the gym. The first time you miss the gym, it gets easier than after that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just kind
Yep.
of drift away from it. So it's hard to stay disciplined. And then it's discouraging because we see this a lot. And we just saw this with a recent client that we don't work with anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
they had never done content. We did the first few things with them. They put those first few things out, got a massive response from friends and
Mm-hmm.
family and everybody, right? And then it feels like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm going to be huge. And we're trying to explain to them, hey, your friends
Mm-mm.
and family, everyone's going to be interested in this new thing you're doing for that one
Yeah.
time. It won't stay that way.
Right.
You're going to be hot, and then it will disappear and go back to nothing. And that's where the real challenge begins, because your friends and
Exactly.
family don't really care about you doing your podcast
No,
unless
they
they're in
don't.
your ideal client profile, your audience, right? You're not doing it for them.
Yeah.
And they support you. They like you. Just because they don't watch your podcast doesn't mean they don't like you and don't want you to be successful, but they have their
Yeah.
own stuff to do. And the stuff that you're talking about, again, unless they're actually in your audience, it doesn't
Right.
matter to them, you know? So you lose that right away. And then it just feels like you're working in this void. So then you get the double hammer, and you dealt with this early. Like I remember early
Mm-hmm.
last year, I'm just like, stop talking to me about the metrics. I don't care. You know, you're looking at them. Like, well, we're up to blah blah views, and then 2 hours later, hey, more people have watched. Like,
Well, I
I
was
don't look at them.
excited.
I know. You're new to content.
Yeah,
I
I was
I do
excited.
not. I don't look at the metrics.
Yeah, I know this
You
about
know,
you.
because it's and in this case, and this why I don't is because we are going to do it regardless. This is a strategy, and it's a plan, and it's long term. So what is happening right now, these bounces that you will get in your metrics, you're looking at the long. So stretch your timeline out, and that
Yeah.
will flatten out all those bounces, right? So over the long term, your curves flatten out.
Yeah.
So I don't live and die by what happened to this podcast, that podcast. And you see a lot of influencers who just get
Mhm.
depressed if, like, all of a sudden their views are down. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And maybe, and this is something for us going into this next year, like, okay, we're a year in, we're looking at some lessons, and I'm thinking, like, what should we do for year two? And I do think we can change some things, and we're going
Mm.
to,
Right.
but not about in service to a goal of how do we get huge.
Right.
That is not the reason for us to make any pivots or changes or anything, right? It's um
And
that's
I
what
think
I don't do. And that's why people lose it. They look
that
at the
is
metrics
why,
and they're like,
because
I'm
and
not
I
Joe Rogan. This sucks. I quit.
right. And I think I did, after a while, stop kind of really
Yep.
focusing on the metrics. But it was interesting the first time, because coming from a retention world where everything is about the metrics, because, it is the how many people did we send something to? How many people opened an email, clicked, converted? What's the ROI? You're looking at all those things and not realizing that on the flip side of that, on social media, it's important that you're consistent and you show up. It's less important what your views are. And we've talked about this and mentioned it in a couple of different podcasts. We had a video that you did, Mike, on TikTok that had like 2 million views, got
Yeah.
us 0 clients. A podcast that we did on email marketing, specifically like here, that had like 6 views, got us a client that got us another client. So it's never about chasing that metric, because actually looking at it will be exhausting, because there is no rhyme or reason that I can figure out like why something would get like 800 views and another thing would get 8.
Right.
We've posted clips in the same format, similar keywords, and some things will perform really, really well and others just don't. And that's okay. To me, it was just, I did stop focusing on that, but it was really interesting to start with. I was like, oh, let me refresh. How many people did listen to us on Spotify? Oh, one still? Okay.
Yep.
It was,
And
but
it is
now
really
looking
hard.
at a year in review, looking at the year in review, we talked about the metrics last episode. We had, 61 followers now on YouTube, which we're a podcast about marketing. That is a lot
Right.
of people. I don't even follow a lot of marketing podcasts. Like, if we're being honest, I'll go and listen to things. It's exciting to see the channel slowly grow. And there's been an upward progression over the course of the 12 months, um, I like that. I mean, it's been interesting to kind of build it slowly,
Yes.
you know?
It people just get discouraged, and then it's
Yeah.
so easy for everything else to take you out of it. And I'll be honest right now too, in the second half of December here, I don't
Yeah.
think I have posted anything. I have not made a video for the cynical marketers.
Yeah.
Probably in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
you
It's
know?
been
I had one I recorded and I was working on editing it, and I'm just like, I
mhm.
don't like it. Eh.
Yeah.
I'm just, I don't know. No, what? No. So I just didn't,
Yeah.
right? And the world hasn't fallen apart. And we tell people show up
Yeah.
consistently, and
Yeah.
don't quit. But
Right.
this is the reality too. It's okay sometimes, you
Yeah.
miss here and there. It's okay. I
Yeah.
will get back to it. But
Right.
it is hard. It's hard to do this
Yeah.
stuff. People just don't think
It
it
is
is. People
hard.
just think it's turn on a camera. Everybody has. I can't remember what. There's a comedian who talks about this. Maybe David Spade or somebody. Everyone just kind of thinks it, but everybody can do like 5 minutes of
Yeah.
comedy, right? The first time. You've probably got some jokes, a couple of funny stories maybe over the course of your life that if you had to get up and tell something funny to an audience, you probably
Right.
could for like one time. All right, now you've burned it. Now you got to start writing new stuff.
Yeah.
So when people start doing content, they've got these ideas and these things that have been very important to them. And those are the first things they're going to talk about because they're passionate about it and they want to do it. So they're committed because these people need to know these things about blah, 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 right? All
Yeah.
right, you did that content. Now what? You got through this stuff that you had in your mind that you've been mulling over for a
Hmm.
long time. Now what?
And it's
What's
a
next?
lot harder to create content. I think people think they can use different AI tools and apps and, do videos. And when they see other creators, I don't think people realize how much time actually goes into this,
Mhm.
And so while I'm definitely not a huge fan of the influencer culture, but I think that it takes a lot of time when you look at some of these creators who are getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views, on their videos, that there is more than likely a team behind those people.
Yeah.
It is somebody editing. Somebody called out one of the folks that I follow specifically for email marketing, right? He does these videos where he shows different websites and different emails. And then in the background of him talking about a website, he had a screenshot of the website where it showed the currency was not US dollars, right? So it was somebody that was editing this was overseas and he got called out on that. And my whole thing on that doesn't even bother me, but it's like, what do you guys think that one person can sit and pump
Right.
out all these videos on their own? It's hard. So if you are a business owner, though, don't look at those people to try to be like them. That is, you don't need to be, and you're not an influencer. You're not out there trying to make money on social media. If that's what you do, then great. Then you need a different set of tools and people behind you to help you do that. But as a small business owner, running a local shop in, Wheaton, where we are, right? Or anywhere in the suburbs, or if you have a small business, even an online, direct to consumer business, couple of brands that we work with, show up just as you are. Do a talking head video. This doesn't have to be a huge production. We're working with a brand right now who he had to rename his brand due to a trademark issue, and is reintroducing this brand that people have known for 10 years, and he has to reintroduce it and explain it. And he, took a chair, pulled up a chair, sat down and recorded a video.
Yep.
And it worked and it resonated. It is not a high value production. There isn't things flying in and out. It's just him in a chair talking to his audience. You don't need to overthink this, the content production. At least that's my take on it. A very simple talking head video can be just fine if you're an accountant or a lawyer or you run a small shop or whatever it is that you're doing. It
Yep.
matters if you show up. Don't compare what you're trying to do and the content that you're trying to do to make it be like something that you're not, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, it
hopefully
does.
you get, hopefully we get big enough and everybody else gets big enough to where you can actually hire an editor and have a production team behind you. But you don't need all that. You just need to discipline and consistency.
Just got to get started.
You
And
know
it's scheduling it. I try to tell business owners you
that.
schedule everything else in your business. Your meetings are scheduled, everything's planned
Oh
out. You
yeah,
have dates you know, payroll has to be done by this time, and right, checks go out on this. You have planning and scheduling for everything else. You have to do this too for your content. You
yeah,
cannot leave it for this magical time where you think as a small business owner you will all of a
no,
sudden have some free time to
yeah,
make some content. That doesn't happen. This doesn't happen for small business owners. There's no magical time of all of a sudden I don't have anything to do. You have to block it
yeah,
and plan it and schedule it and force yourself to hold to that schedule.
yeah,
And then that's how it will get done. If you don't schedule it and plan it, it's just not going to get done because that's obviously not a priority for you.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, you
you will
have to
schedule
schedule
things
it.
that
Yeah,
matter. If it
yeah.
doesn't matter to you, you're like, oh, we'll get to it when we can. That's exactly
And
what
then
you'll
you
do.
never
You'll get
do.
to it when you can. Yeah.
And then you never do.
And
Yeah.
you never will. You just won't.
Hmm.
Or you might do it for a little bit and then you quit.
Yeah.
Then you come back in 2 months because you're like, oh, I should have kept doing this. And now I'm going to start
Right.
again. And then you start and stop. And it's so hard. And then you're like, well, this never works. We never get any traction. So you stop again. And then you see a competitor doing something and you're like, oh, I should have kept doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
should have.
mean, and it's interesting too that you said, Mike, when people start and stop posting, especially if you're a direct to consumer brand, if you haven't posted for a few months or a few weeks, the customer will think you're out of business.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go check your social media and they'll be like, well, I don't know. It doesn't look, they haven't posted anything in
Still around.
27 weeks.
If they even think of you at all. If they even think you're going out of business, they just don't even think of you.
Yeah.
You're
I
gone.
mean, but
You're
if
out of their
they're
mind.
trying to check out a new brand, we see this, people running ads, right? We have one client who's running ads constantly, but not posting anything new on social media. And it's been, weeks. And so it's all May was last time or something, and just a few intermittent things here and there. But, when you do that and you run ads and people come to your page to see your page, um, you need to have content. Just show up, post
Yeah.
something,
When you want your ads to work,
right.
if you're running Google ads, that's last click stuff, right? And
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's it's high intent capture. So what were people Googling? And then your ad comes up. They don't know. They never seen you. They don't know who you are. You
Yeah.
show up next to another brand who is very active out there everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's your two ads are together. Which ones are people likely to click on?
Yeah.
Somebody I've seen before. Oh, I kind of recognize them. I know that name. There's trust there because I've seen you.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And now you're showing up. The only way I found you is paid ads?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you legit?
Yeah.
Are you one of the, the gambling sites?
The scary
I
overseas sites. Yeah.
It just, you erodes trust.
Yeah, it definitely
You can't do
does.
that one thing. It's not an either or. You don't do social media or your SEO and PPC. It's an and. You have to do them both. You have to do SEO and PPC.
Yeah, you have to do all the things. Yeah.
You have to do those things because at a bare minimum, it's an arms race in the SEO and PPC space. Your competitors are going to do it. And there's all these SEO agencies out there going after your business sector, and they're going to hire, your competitors are going to hire those people. You better too. Just so you don't lose ground. At a minimum, you have to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to do your social media as well because it helps feed it. That is your awareness. And people hate talking about brand building in marketing because we have in the last decade have been way too focused on performance marketing only. What is the ROI? Right. What is the ROI? Show me how many dollars do I make for every dollar spent? And nobody wants to do brand building.
Yeah.
But the brand part is what feeds that SEO and PPC machine that you are building. How do you create the demand for what you're doing?
Yeah.
Or somebody else out there doing it. Is Nike going to do it? Like you want to try and sell apparel. So we're not going to do anything, but everyone is going to Google this stuff because Nike's running a lot of ads. And hopefully people pick us because they want to choose a small business over the big behemoth, Nike. Is that what you're going to go for? The small business differentiator. So it's not an either or, it's an and.
Right. And when people do that, like this is one of my biggest pet peeves that I'm seeing too, Mike, maybe digressing here in conversation, but I see a lot of creators online who are service-based, especially who are like, oh, I hate so-and-so, like another creator or another business, right? And they build a hook and a platform around that. And it's always strange to me, right? Like you said, like if you were maybe like a local store and you're selling shoes, are you going to get online and be like, I hate Nike, you should buy from us because blah, 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 right? Like we hate this brand or this brand does this or whatever. Consumers are savvy enough. We've talked about this in several episodes where they will research, they will boycott, they will do all kinds of things, or they will virtue signal boycott, whatever it is, right? But I don't think the message should ever be, screw the other guy, buy from us, whatever it is, or get service from us, right? And like you said, like we see this a lot where people are like, well, you should buy from us because we're a small business, or because we're women owned, or because blah, 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 right? Whatever the thing may be. The truth is just show up for your customers, be honest, be transparent, do the things, sell your service, product, whatever, ethically, and be out there. And you don't need to lead with, things that are like hooks or taglines for social media, like that always feels icky. Like I'll use an example. So like, there is a therapist that I follow on Instagram, and lately all of his videos have been like, well, I hate Mel Robbins, and here is why. Like Mel Robbins, the author and the, self-help guru of sorts. Look, you can hate her all you want. I don't want to build a brand on hating on somebody else. Like that's a weird thing to me. I don't know why that always gives me the ick. Like it would be like if we sat here and we're like, well, I hate this marketing agency. Do they even know who the hell we are?
No,
probably not.
No.
Who cares?
But you would be doing that, right? For karma jacking, right? Or for, just for the rage engagement, because they have a much bigger audience.
Yeah.
So you target those people with the big audiences then, and I'm going to flame them.
Don't do that.
just for
don't do
engagement
that.
bait, rage bait, engagement.
Yeah.
That's what's fueling social media that I think in 2026 is one of my predictions. I think it's going to change. I
Yeah.
think the algorithms are
Yeah,
going to
you did.
stop rewarding rage bait because I have seen some flags and signals from some of the platforms that are now starting to actually rate the comments
Yeah.
and, and gauge them. They've always had this capability, but they've never done it because the platforms also benefit from rage. So why would they stop
Yeah.
it? But I think people are getting sick of it and they see
Yeah.
it. And now you will see comments of like, this is just rage bait.
Yeah.
I see this on TikTok a lot, especially on the other side, the other half of my life on the TV Genius stuff
Mhm.
for pop culture and things. There are channels out there who will just make pure rage bait to say the top 5 sports movies of all time, right? And there'll be 3 or 4 like legitimate choices, and everyone can argue about the rankings. But then like their number 1 is going to be something just totally ridiculous. That's no one would say that, but it's
Yeah.
just to get comments of like, "What are you, an idiot?" You know?
Yeah.
Because it used to work to do lists because then people would just argue over your rankings.
Yeah.
How do you have this at number 5? Are you out of your mind? That's number 1, right? And that would drive just even the
Yeah.
discussion of the list. 'Cause
Yeah.
listicles were a thing in the
Right.
blog world years and years ago. Listicles
Right.
were the thing. BuzzFeed killed those things, right? With 8 things of the blah blah. Number 6 will blow your mind, right? Those kind
Right.
of things. But now you can't do that anymore because everyone did that. So now it's not the listicles. Now I'm going to make one that is just meant to enrage people,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's what so many people are out there doing. But I think people are getting sick of it because now you'll
I
see
think people are
comments,
too.
rage bait. And
Right.
now you're still giving them what they want. You're
Right.
like,
You're
yeah, I
still
know.
giving them
So
engagement.
my one
Mhm.
person fight against this, I don't engage with the stuff. So it does
Same.
nothing to anyone. I don't hurt anyone. It makes no
Yeah.
impact, but I
Same.
continue my one person fight against those, you know,
You're better at it than
especially
me.
like Facebook. God, Facebook. There's AI pages, and because I do a lot of military content too. So on Facebook, I am
Yeah.
shown all of those kinds of pages. So like, there's Band of Brothers stuff. So I that's what like my other channel is kind of known for. I did Band of Brothers content. So I see the stuff on Facebook
Yeah.
then, and you're like, hey, the Band of Brothers fan page, it's based in Malaysia, everybody.
Yeah.
What's going on here? And then it's AI generated images of things, and you're like,
Of like
and, and you're
wildly
like,
inaccurate things.
I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
it's gotta be, and I've always wondered what the point of those pages are, because then you'll just get all the boomers who just can't spot fake, I guess, who will comment saying, oh, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. A big thing on the internet earlier in the year, maybe was, it's this veteran's birthday.
Yeah.
Will anyone say, is anyone brave enough to thank this veteran and say happy birthday? And it's some AI picture of like a terrible looking uniform and like,
You're like,
a
this person
prosthetic
didn't.
leg and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's clearly fake, right? That's clearly AI. But then all the comments are like, happy birthday. I'm brave enough to say it. And you're like, God,
Oh gosh.
that, I've said this too, where I'm like, I don't know. I generally think that the public is smart enough to spot AI crap. But then like you go on
No.
Facebook and you see all the people commenting, you're like,
No,
I don't
and
know, I
people
guess
can't
not.
tell what's AI anymore. Like there
I
are
guess
people who
not.
are posting like genuine videos and people are like, that's AI, especially with animals, and how like if somebody will post like a video of an animal interacting with another animal and people will be like, that's AI. And the author is
That's
like,
where we're at now too, right? Like
the person is like, hey, no, this is like, I actually recorded this. And they're like,
I
no,
know.
this is all fake.
Nobody believes
Yeah.
anything now. So either they fall for it totally or
they don't believe anything.
I don't believe it at all. And
Yeah.
I've seen it on like legitimate, like Pulitzer Prize photographs that this is a historical photograph.
Yeah.
This
And
is
like, it's
known in history. And there's commenters like, get out of here with this AI slop. And you're like, I hate AI too, but this one's not. That's like, that image won a Pulitzer Prize, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's real, this one.
Yeah.
People don't trust anything.
No.
That's another episode, I guess.
That's a whole other episode, I guess.
The erosion of trust. And again, that's why I think it's important for you to show up. Here we are. We're just two dummies talking.
Yep.
We're 30, almost 35 minutes in. Nobody's still here listening to us talk.
Still
We're just
here.
enjoying the conversation.
Not even Lance at this point.
No, nobody's still here listening to this. You know, maybe this will get clipped. We'll clip this for TikTok.
Yeah. It'll be great. It will do great for clips.
All my gold, my true gold is always too late in the episode to be seen.
That's true. So, it's true, Mike.
I know. I'm an unsung hero in my own mind.
Oh, maybe this year we need to do a Mike Burt is awesome award, because I don't know if you noted that one of our previous guests has that in their bio.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was going to have my attorney possibly send a cease and desist on that. There's somebody out there who is claiming to have been nominated for a Mike Burt is awesome award for awesomeness. Nominations have not gone out yet. So I just think he's trying to, again, he's trying to hijack fame of that award. So I spoke with my attorney and, we decided like, it's probably not worth it. Met with the legal team, with my legal team. Yeah.
Yep. Of Chad GPT.
That's the kind of operation we're running. Multiple attorneys, accountants, all kinds of things going on here at the Cynical Marketers and Round to It Marketing. I mean, it's a pretty sophisticated operation, as you can tell.
Super sophisticated, as you can tell.
As you can tell, I'm sure, if you're still watching this video, this is very sophisticated. You see studio behind me.
Very, very sophisticated.
So
we should wrap on that note, Mike.
Okay, we will. All right, if you're still here, thank you for sticking this one out. It is the first episode of the new year, 2026. Here we come. I'm sure this year will go just as quickly as 2025. If you're actually out there still listening to this and you're thinking about doing something, now is the time, because you were probably thinking that same thing last year.
Yep.
I'm going to start, and then you didn't.
Yeah.
So
go
get this stuff going, people. All right, thanks for tuning in. We will see everybody again next week.